Cobblemon is full of different types of Pokemon from all around this blocky world. However, there are some Pokemon that can only be obtained by resurrecting them from fossils. It's time to build a laboratory to assist us further in researching this Cobblemon world. Greetings, viewer. I'm Empyrean Dragon. There's still so much to discover in this Cobblemon world, and today we are going to explore fossils. Today, we're gonna build ourselves a laboratory so we can put in it all the equipment we need to resurrect fossils. Let's get into the video. Thank you guys so much for leaving names in the comments. I'm gonna pull a few today to name some Pokemon, and first, I've got a name for Finizen. It was suggested that I name Finizen Dolly, apparently for Dolly Parton, but I like just Dolly because it's Dolly the Dolphin. Or rather, Dolly the Dolphin Pokemon. So I think that's super cute. And then as for my other Pokemon, I got a great suggestion for my Grottle here, and I'm gonna name him Saplington. I think that's a great name. And for Braixen, we got another one, the Sakura. Thank you for that name suggestion. And we have one for Pidgeot, and I really liked Ace. We also have Ledian here who still needs a name, so if you have a good name for Ledian, leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for all of those who left comments, leaving names. I'm really grateful for you contributing to this. I want to involve you guys as much as possible in this series, so thank you so much. Now back to the video. The first thing I want to do today is build a pasture block for my Pokemon left in my PC to be able to roam around. To make a pasture block, I just need a PC, some wood planks, 2 hay, and a hopper. I'm gonna go find a good spot and clear some land so I can make a place for them to roam. So I actually have no idea how this is gonna work, but I do know that a pasture block will allow the Pokemon in my box to roam freely. I just created this little pasture here, this little fenced off area. Honestly, probably don't even need it to be fenced off because I don't think the Pokemon will run away or anything like that. I'm gonna put this just right here in this corner. Turn it on. And we'll have Badoo come out. As you can see, Badoo's just roaming around. Looks like it comes out behind the pasture. So let's just recall. And then we'll go ahead and break this. And I'll put this right here. And then let him out. Cool, so now our little Badoo is out there. Let's see, it doesn't look like I can put any of my party Pokemon in the box from there, but let me also let my Ledian in there. And we'll just let these two roam around. And they'll just always roam around and just be in this little pasture. I'll probably add a couple of decorations and such. Honestly, I'm not sure if I even need these fences here because I don't think they'll wander away or anything like that. And even if we do, we can always just recall them from the pasture block. But I think this is a really cool way to show off some of my cool Pokemon. Ledian can actually just fly, so yeah, that's a thing. But Badoo's in there, I guess. And yeah, this is just a really cute little way to show off some of my Pokemon. So I'm excited to see this grow as we capture more and more Pokemon in the future. Whoa, there's a Vespiquen. That is cool. Level 35. I'm seeing a lot of higher level Pokemon just roaming around recently. I wonder if that has to do with the fact that my Pokemon are getting leveled up higher and higher, and so wild Pokemon are starting to be stronger. That's really interesting. Okay, I've got this small little lot here, and this is where I'm gonna build my laboratory. So let's get right into it. Okay, here we go. This is going to be the Pokemon Research Lab. In fact, let me also grab one of my banners here, since I have an extra one lying around. Go ahead and put that on top. The purpose of the Pokemon Research Lab is to develop technologies to allow us to further explore this world and discover new Pokemon and even revive Pokemon. We just come in here. It's very empty right now. And there won't be a ton of stuff going in here per se, but let me build a few things and I will place them and show you what they do. For those of you who have been watching this series for a while, this place might look familiar to you. This is the really beautiful Cliff Cove area where I lost my horse. And the reason we're here is because I remember there being lush caves just on the other side of these cliffs. And I want to try and find something in these lush caves. We'll just take Ace here and... wow, look at all of those mobs. Okay, let's be very careful. But I'm gonna carefully make my way down. And the items we are looking for are called revival herbs, and revival herbs grow in lush caves. I'm gonna need them to build some stuff. Oh, there's also deep dark. That's terrifying. Is this also a mine shaft? Yes. Okay, wow, this is quite the area here. Okay, I believe this is one right here. It's this plant right here, so I'm gonna pick that up and then carefully maneuver. Looks like there's another one over there I would like to pick up as well. Okay, that is all I wanted from this area, so let's head on home. If we take a look at our crafting table here, there's a specific recipe that I want to look at. This is called a revive. Revive a fainted Pokemon to 50% of their max HP. Now, that's not really what I want to use it for, but to be able to craft a revive, we need a honey bottle and some heal powder. To get heal powder, we'll just come into our furnace, and we just need to smelt a revival herb. And if you let it smelt for a while, you'll eventually get heal powder. Then we have heal powder, and let me go grab a honey bottle. Alright, luckily we had a honey bottle in the iron farm, which is funny. But by combining these two things, we can now craft a revive. Now, if you look at our recipes, we can make what's called a max revive, which revives and fully heals a fainted Pokemon, and that takes 3 regular revives and a Vivillage. But I don't think we'll be needing this today. What we're gonna build today is called a restoration tank. And if you look at the ingredients, it's just some iron, glass, a composter, and a revive. So let me just get everything and I'll craft this really quick. Alright, so I just got everything, and now we can craft ourselves a restoration tank. So I'll just put that in my inventory. However, along with the restoration tank, we need 2 more things. We also need what's called a fossil analyzer, and this will require cobble deep slate, an amethyst shard, which we don't have yet, some redstone dust, iron, and glass. So let me go collect those things really quick. We'll be right back. Okay, if we look at our map here, we can actually easily find a bunch of geodes. There's one up north a little bit, and there's also one, looks like we can get to it from this cave, so let's do that. Man, geodes just have the prettiest sounds. We can also now get the analyzer, now that I have everything for that. Now we just need one more part. This is a data monitor. This is what we need with the other 2 parts to be able to revive fossils. And I want to put these in our lab. And this one's pretty easy to make too, just some iron, copper, glass, and a redstone torch. So let me make that real quick. Okay, now we have all 3 parts of, I'll probably call it like a fossil reviver system. Now let me show you how these 3 things work. Alright, let's come into the lab. I'm gonna place these just right here. You want the tank on the right side, the fossil analyzer right next to it, and the data monitor on top of that. If you don't have it set up exactly like this, it might not work for you. So you need to make sure you have the data monitor on top of the analyzer, that they are connected to the restoration tank. You can even see that the analyzer kind of connects to the tank. If you look at these pixels, like right in between these blocks here. And what you want to do with the tank is fill it up with organic material. I think the easiest things are seeds. And I'm just going to put a bunch of seeds in here. You can see that there's some stuff slowly filling up the tank. Okay, so that took 2 stacks of seeds to fill up the whole tank, which I think is really easy to get. Seeds are super easy, you get a bunch of them just from farming. And this makes a fossil restoration system. Now, the only thing that I don't have at the moment is a fossil. So let's rectify that. I'm gonna go search for a fossil, and then we're gonna restore it. Okay, so to find a fossil, we need to find a very specific thing. These are called fossil dig sites, and there's a bunch of different kinds, and different dig sites will give us different types of fossils. These dig sites could be anything from prehistoric frozen ponds to prehistoric birch trees to prehistoric anhydro agates, which I hope I'm saying properly, and we can just try and find them. Now, I don't think they're super common, but we will go and do our best. So, onward to adventure. Oh wow, check it out. There's another ruined tower over here, and it's covered in ice. Are those crafting tables on top? Is that a breeze? Why is there a breeze there? I'm just gonna land right here. Oh, this is like an actual chest. Interesting, lots of glass bottles. A focus sash, that's awesome. Some XP candies, a flying gem. I don't really care about that shovel, but a rare candy is really nice. That means we can take this, right? Yeah, now we have like a gilded chest that's red and looks like a gimme ghoul. That's really cool. Alright, I did see that there was a breeze on top, so let's just carefully work our way upwards. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh no. What? Where did it go? Yikes. Yikes. Oh, did it just fall off? Oh, wow, that was scary. I definitely could have just gotten completely pushed off and very well could have died. There's crafting tables here, and this is another actual chest. I'm gonna just break that and take everything. Wow, okay, that's really cool. This one is just completely different, and it looks like there's also the suspicious gravel right here at the top, so let me just drop a few things that I don't really need. Alright. Dang it, that was the, click the wrong button there. Ooh, we got the capture pottery shard. That's really cool. What was that? There's something in the pot. Oh cool, there's remedies in the pot. Okay, well that's really, really cool. Okay. I don't know where the breeze is. I don't think I actually slayed the breeze, but I think it might be gone. I don't know. Let's work our way down. There's probably more suspicious gravel down at the bottom. There are so many relic coins. I'm gonna feed Ace a bunch of these candies. Okay, Ace is now level 39. Speed stat is still only 77. So sad. But you did just learn a new move. So if we look at your stats, you have a much higher attack stat. So I'd love to do Wing Attack over Gust. It looks like you also learned Hurricane at some point, but that one's not a super accurate move. Oh, there's the breeze. It is still around, but it's on the ground, so that should give me a much better chance. Let's just land. Dismount. Alright, breeze, where'd you go? Oh. Alright, we got it! And we got 2 breeze rods. That's awesome. Okay, let's just quickly sleep. All right. Wow, that was something. And then yeah, you can see all the suspicious gravel. So let's just go ahead, do all the brushing. Okay, our inventory is already very full. All right, well, this tower was super cool. Very different from any of the other ones we've been to so far. And really interesting that there was a breeze at the top. I just love how Cobblemon just has all these unique structures and even more uniqueness within the structures themselves, because this is not the same type of tower that we've seen before, and I love that so much. So if you're interested in Cobblemon, I highly recommend checking it out for yourself. Now let's get back to finding a prehistoric frozen pond. Okay, looks like we finally found a prehistoric site. As you can see, there's some dead coral sticking out of some of the ice, and that means this is a prehistoric pond. And underneath this pond, there should be some suspicious gravel that we can get. So I'm just going to break some of this stuff. And then we'll just kind of carefully break this ice away and look for some of the gravel. Like that one. Alright, let's use our brush here. Let's see. Okay, looks like we found a fossilized dino. That's really cool. I believe with this one though, we do need to find a couple more fossils to combine it with, which I know sounds weird, but that's how it worked when those ones were released. So let's keep looking around. Hopper. What is this? A power herb. That's a really good held item. That's really cool. Ah, okay. That's never melt ice. That's also really cool to find. An ice stone. That's pretty good. Really need to start carrying bundles around to put things in. That would be really useful. I have things to make bundles. Oh, let's go. Okay, we found a sail fossil. Okay, that's really cool. A sail fossil we can just resurrect on its own. We don't need to combine it with anything. So I'm glad we found this one. This one is actually the rarer fossil to find in this area, and it will resurrect a Pokemon that I really like. But let's keep looking because there could be more fossils anywhere. Okay. I believe that's another herb. Yeah, it's a mental herb, so it cures the holder of infatuation or other mental effects when in battle. Ooh, is this a bone? Or is this is a thick club, isn't it? Nope, that's just a bone. Okay. Oh, energy root. Okay, that's cool. All right, we got 2 fossilized dinos. I think that should work. Oh no. Dang it, that might have been suspicious gravel. Oh well. Okay, we got quite the haul here. We managed to find 3 fossils, so let's take them home and get them resurrected. Oh, we finally made it home. That was such a long trip. I wanted to find a frozen pond specifically because I really like the fossils you can get from it. But the closest one I could find was pretty far away. Anyway, let's land and take a good rest. Good job, Ace. Thanks for all your help. Okay, so we're back here in the lab, and we've got our fossil restoration system here. Now, we've got 2 fossilized dinos, but I don't know if I can actually get anything with those because you have to combine fossilized dinos with different fossils to get kind of these weird Pokemon that aren't mixed. So I'm actually going to start with the sail fossil because I know I just need the one. Fossilized dinos are a bit strange because there are some fossils that are actually just different pieces of different Pokemon, and when you restore them together and you kind of get an interesting amalgamation of different fossils combined together. However, I don't think you can actually combine 2 of the same fossils together, so I'm just gonna do the sail fossil for now. So all we have to do is put it in our hand, right click, and it goes into the analyzer. And as you can see, the computer bit turned on. This whole thing is now lit up, and this tank is starting to bubble. And you can actually see this little tiny pixel show up in this tank. And that is actually the Pokemon. And you can actually see it is slowly starting to get bigger and bigger, which is really, really cool. I believe this takes about 10 or 15 minutes to fully complete. So while we're letting this run, I'm gonna work on building something else in here, and that's going to be our Nether portal. Here's the next little stage. Oh, that's so cool. It's just getting a little bigger every time. Alright, this was just a really simple build. I had this idea of surrounding the portal in copper and kind of making it like a scientist opening a portal kind of thing, and I thought that looked really cool with the copper. So I now have the portal on the inside here. We've got some gates to make sure things can't just get in and out whenever they want to. And it's in our lab, which I think is really cool. So we're able to have our fossil restoration system here on the other side of this little desk thing. And then we can also access the Nether this way. I still have this corner for a bit of space. I'll probably decorate with some bookshelves and maybe a couple other interesting bits and bobs as well. But in the meantime, I'm pretty happy with this. And let's now wait for this adorable little fossil to finish reviving. All right, the process is now complete. There was a little ding, but now the screen is a bright green, which means the fossil is ready. Now you can do this in a few different ways. We could just break this container and the Pokemon will come out and we could battle it to catch it. However, I don't want to do that because I think that sounds really messy. But what we can do is take a Pokeball and just right click, and now it's in the Pokeball, and we get the advancement, Life Finds a Way. And as you can see, we still have the container. Next time we want to use a fossil, we'll have to refill it with organic material, like plants or whatever, so that's pretty easy to do. But now, we have a new member of our party. And this is Amara, and it is this super cute dinosaur looking thing, and it's an ice and rock type, and it's a lot bigger than you would think. I mean, this is a level 1 Pokemon. Whenever you resurrect a fossil, it'll be at level 1 in Cobblemon. But just look how adorable this thing is. Ah, oh, it's so cute. Okay, let's take a look at its information. Alright, so we have Amara here. It is a rock ice type, which is probably the weakest type in the game, unfortunately, but I still think this is such a cool Pokemon. It's got an impish nature and it has the ability Refrigerate, which means that normal type moves become ice type moves, and the power of those moves is boosted a little. This is actually a very cool ability. Allows you to get some cool advantages in battle by getting ice type, same type attack bonuses on moves that you normally wouldn't give you that. If we come to his moves, he's got Rock Throw, Powder Snow, Growl. Those are the only 3 moves he knows. That's That makes sense. And if we look here, he's got very low stats, but his impish nature boosts his defense and lowers his special attack. That's not the worst nature. I don't know if Amara is more of a special or physical attacker. It might be kind of an even split. But having more bulk is always nice. Wow, if we look at the IVs here, you actually have 31 in attack, 30 in speed, 28 in HP, 19 special attack, and then pretty low special defense and defense on the IVs, which is a little sad. For Pokemon like this, I would want better defense IVs above most other things, but this is still pretty good. Then of course there's no effort values, so we'll have to train him up for those. And this is actually really cool to see. We already have 55% friendship with this Pokemon. If we look at our Grottle here, Saplington, our friendship with him is only 43%. And this is the Pokemon that we started with. If we look at Dolly here, the Pokemon we recently captured, its friendship is only 20%. And you can see how sporadic all of these are. Pokemon gain friendship based on how often they're out of their Pokeball, how often you battle with them. And that's why newer Pokemon that I have a lower friendship. Because you resurrected a fossil, they start you off with a lot of friendship, which I think is really cool. So this is Amara. It's a super cool Pokemon. And really, really cool to see it here in Minecraft. We have had a very exciting episode today. We've done a lot of adventuring to go find some fossils at some prehistoric sites, and we built ourselves a laboratory so we can resurrect them. We even resurrected our friend Amara here. Now, if you're interested, please leave a comment below. What should we name our Amara? I would love to get your suggestions down in the comments. And while you're at it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. If you've watched to this point, you probably like what I'm doing. And a lot of people who watch my videos actually aren't subscribed. So please consider it. It's free and you can always unsubscribe anytime you want to. Now, on to our capture quest. Today, we will be hunting for a Pokemon called Klawf. Klawf is a rock crab Pokemon, and we'll actually find Klawf in the Badlands. So let's start looking around and see if we can find one. Let's go, little Amara. Alright, here we are in the Badlands biome. I'm gonna go up this mountain a little bit. Looks like we found another ruined tower in the Badlands. Wow, look at this place. Looks like they used the red sandstone. That's really cool. Wow, and if we just look at the top here, it's just got a little base up here. This is really cool. And if we click on this chest, it's actually a chest. There's a protector in here, lots of coins, a king's rock, candies, a superb remedy, which I am actually not familiar with, and a leaf stone. That's quite cool. There's also a crafting table, a cauldron, and a bell. That is really cool. I love how the loot tables for these different towers are slightly different for all of them. And I love how unique they are in every biome. Anyway, let's keep looking for our capture quest encounter. Alright, this is a Klawf. And it looks kind of funny in Cobblemon, but I think the model's actually really good. It's just weird because normally when you see Klawf, it's standing up more than this. But it's level 38. I'm hoping that Grottle can handle this since Klawf is a pure rock type. Okay, so since it is the first turn, always like to start with a quick ball just to see if it works. There we go. Ah, quick balls are awesome. Alright, so since our party's full, Klawf has been sent to the PC, so let's head on home and take a look. We take a look here, it's a pure rock type with a docile nature. It has the ability Shell Armor, which protects the Pokemon from critical hits, which is super awesome. It's a really good ability. Looks like it's got a lot of pretty good moves, and it's very physically defensive, but specially weak, which that's typical for rock types. Not very great IVs. but it does have more defense IVs than anything else, and I'd say that's what you would want from a Pokemon like this. And yeah, nothing else. So yeah, welcome to the team, Cloth. If you have any names for my Cloth, please leave them down in the comments below. I'll be checking them all the time, and I'll be picking one of them to give to my friend here. Now, I don't know if I really want to use a Cloth, so let's go put him in the pasture with our other extra Pokemon. Alright, so now we have a Cloth and Badoo out here in the pasture, and then our Ledian is just kind of wandering around. Yeah, I think Ledian's more of a free spirit, so goes wherever it wants to. And that concludes this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and making it all the way to the end. Now that we have a lab, we can continue reviving fossils and researching other things we need. We'll also light the portal and prepare for our next adventure in the Nether. So until next time, farewell.